Welcome back to another episode of Juggernauts and Jabronis. This is AKA the Jags Week in Review, and let's jump right into it. The Juggernaut of the week is none other than Mr. Jake freaking Atlas. I know Jake's getting a lot of love lately. He's wrestling his final independent matches before he heads down to Florida. Jake is fantastic. You probably heard us talk about him quite a bit, and he just had a barn burner of a match against Mr. Tony freaking Deppen. So anytime somebody works their way up from zero to hero, the way Jake Atlas has done, you're going to get some recognition and a little bit of love from the Jag. Make sure to check out his match against Tony Deppen at GCW's Can't Feel My Face on IWTV.live. Jabroni of the week goes to none other than Kris Statlander. And I know you think the Jag's been tough on Kris Statlander. I don't dislike Kris Statlander. However, I have to question her decision to forego the WWE and take her monkey butt all the way to AEW, where she basically just got buried by one of the worst factions in the history of wrestling. Now, let me just say this. If there was a 1 to 100 ranking of wrestling factions, this Nightmare Collective haircutting BS will be all the way down at number 100, right after the Oddities. This is probably the worst freaking faction in the history of man. We don't know their motivation. We don't know why we should care. And they just ruined Statlander's push and hopefully what I think she was promised when she went to AEW over WWE. Meanwhile, Kris Statlander is the Jabroni of the week for going to AEW and getting jobbed out to Awesome Kong and Brandy Rhodes and whoever those other two creepy people are. Promo of the week goes to Mr. Tony Deppen. Yes, they just talked about that match between him and Jake Atlas. And after the match, Tony had some really kind, really awesome words to say about Jake Atlas, and I think it was one of the most heartfelt, most appreciative things I've heard in a long time in a wrestling ring. He is a fantastic dude. He's a fantastic talent. He's an amazing wrestler, and I like what he had to say. Even though this wasn't really a promo per se, it was still nice to hear from Mr. Tony Deppen and his feelings about his relationship with Jake Atlas and their working partnership and how they made each other better. Makes it my promo of the week. And the spot of the week goes to none other than Mr. Mike Elgin, who wrestled against Joey Ryan on, I think it was Friday, in their show down in San Antonio. And I don't know, I've been watching, indie wrestling since July and August. I've seen quite a few Joey Ryan matches at Bar and other places. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody kick out of the walk-off. If you don't know what the walk-off is, it's when Joey Ryan takes the blow pop, puts it in your mouth, and gives you that sweet chin music type super kick and knocks you out for the 1, the 2, and the 3. However, Mike Elgin freaking kicked out of it. Not only that, but Mike Elgin was able to power out and reverse the dong flip. If you ever watch Joey Ryan, you know he does this thing where he flips somebody with the strength and magic of his business. And Mike Elgin was able to reverse it. He was able to power out of it, hit it with a clothesline. It was the first time I've ever seen anybody reverse or power out of the dong flip and ever saw anybody kick out of the walk-off. So Mike Elgin, you got my respect, and it was a spot of the week because it was something I completely didn't expect, something I'd never seen before, and Mike Elgin being so freaking big and powerful, I completely bought it. And that's going to do it for Juggernauts and Jabronis. This is the Jags Week in Review for Heel Turn Wrestling. Of course, I cross-posted over at Make Me a Fan, so make sure to follow Heel Turn Wrestling at HT Wrestling 316 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Oh yeah, and you can follow Make Me a Fan at Make Me a Fan 316. At Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Of course, you can always follow the Jag at AKA the Jag on all social media platforms, and I will see you next week. Or if you're watching this on Make Me a Fan, I will see you tomorrow.